Hi, I'm Ulyana. I represent Ganymede. We are based in Poland, and yeah, that's us. We do social casino, and we've been around for like more than 10 years. I myself joined the company like 7 years ago, went from marketing to community management, and now working with development team. Serving as a product owner for a Scrum team, and that's what we do. Some of our main games were poker, slots, bingo, mahjong. We as well have our portal, GameDesire.com, where users can socialize. They have some chats, rankings, and that's basically where we publish our games. Some time ago, we decided to add slots to our portfolio, so that was actually the goal. But the social casino, especially slots environment, is really high competitive. So there are lots of developers who are trying to approach the topic with a different result. Actually, like they're flooding the market with different quality of slots. So what we tried to do was have the minimum viable product, release it, and see what's happening next. So we released the basic functionality with minimum feature set. In our case, it was 3 machines and social surrounding for this. We collected some data and we decided to adjust our next actions for what came out of this. And so it actually helped us to approach our decision from the data side of view, not just intuition. And it helped us balancing from different sources of inspiration when we decided to move forward. So here are some of our backlog inspirations. First of all, we need to have the minimum feature set. There are some things you just can't move without, like spinning for slots or bet mechanism. And so you need to have these to move forward. But then there is still this market situation and industry standards. For instance, if you don't want to miss a boat when everybody's making a mobile app, so you want to do this as well. Then there is this company strategy and your place, the place of the project in between the portfolio of the company product. You still need to keep in mind your team vision and the experience of your developers. How they see the project that they will be participating in, and there is still this players' feedback. And sometimes it's not just the direct demands, or like sometimes players would contact us asking for some features, but pretty often it's between the lines. There are some more sources for our backlog and roadmap in general. Some of these are adjusting our graphics to different markets that we want to enter. So here you see the example of our lead game character that was created for Western countries, and here's the Brazilian version for this, and there is Japanese leading character for our Japan partner. Still, there are some other adjustments that need to be made entering the new market, new country. You need to adjust your prices to purchase power of this particular country, especially with the price points for the smallest purchases. So it's easier they're like icebreakers for a person who wants to make the first purchase. And there is this big challenge with the game being cross-platform when it's both in mobile and web. You need to have it sustainable, like you need to deliver the experience more or less similar if player decide to play both mobile and web. But you still need to make some adjustments. So here in this case, you see the version for iPad and iPhone, and we redesigned a little bit the interface. So here there's the interface, like the betting mechanism and the spin button. So for instance, for iPhone, we moved it that it's closer to your thumb, so you can actually reach it easily. And on web it's looking different. And one of other very important first interactions of the player with the game, it's a lobby where you choose the machines. And here you can see the mobile version, and there's the other one is web. So we decided that we should move this direction, that on mobile, players are more likely to swipe for navigation, so we added the machine list in like the continuous list, so they could swipe. And on web, they see all the machines in one screen with no need to swipe further. One other adjustment that we made for other markets was that for some markets we decided to have the progression different. For instance, we noticed that Russian players are we have on some Russian networks really engaged and hardcore slots players. So we offered them the progression made in this way, that once they level up, they open new machines. And on Facebook, all machines were open all the time. So this was one of the adjustments that we made. As well with the Russian and English-speaking countries, as we have different types of players, some networks offered like more casual players. There are like more female with different age. And for instance, in Russia, we have male players 25, 30. So we offered them different order of the machines. So we know that first machines were more attractive and more popular among this particular group of players. So on this way to adopting like a lot of small steps, we want to keep in mind that there will be lots and lots of ideas, and sometimes that's what you need, like to try lots of ideas instead of over-investing your time in some extra huge feature that you think will be your lifesaver, but can be actually a waste of money. So that's what we wanted to do, try lots of small ideas, and just ship it as soon as possible, and maybe have the MVP for your feature, not only for your huge product. And ship it, do it often, and make sure your environment, like development environment, is adjusted to it. Every mistake that we make on this way is our unique learning experience. That's why we want to embrace all our mistakes and actually follow, go forward. In this case, being agile doesn't mean like not having a plan. Like in my own experience, it was rather having plan B, C, D, E, etc. for whatever comes on the way. So you want to be prepared, but you cannot plan everything ahead. What worked well for us was having operations and responsibilities inside of the team, so that it actually brings up the feeling of ownership in each team member. So it helped a lot. And other important thing that we noticed in this process was the recovering of the failures, because there will be some mistakes on the way, but it's good to have the environment when you can safely discuss it and think up some steps after. What do you do next? How to avoid it in the future? So what worked for us in this philosophy was actually having lots of A/B tests, maybe really having staged rollouts when only part of players will see the feature, and if it doesn't work well, it's not harmful for all of our player base, and actually seeing players' feedback as well, but rather reading between the lines, not having it all, like accepting it all literally, and observing the data. One of the A/B tests that we had for one of the very critical elements of the game where players actually monetize is the place where they reach the coins purchase. So group A over here had the green plus button, and the other group had just the text with the return extra coins. And so would you want to try to guess which one just was right? Like A or B? I have a little present for the winner. So this one. Oh, sorry. This one, right? Okay, so there you will have your present afterwards. But there are some cases where it's not that obvious. We had some suspicious, like some ideas how it will work, but sometimes it's not that easy. In this next case, it was our mobile shop. It's actually different. The only difference is in the header and the frame, so the price points are the same. And here we actually, yeah, how would you bet on this one?
At first I said the one on the right, but then my eye was attracted to 200,000, because that's where the big gold thing is. So then I'm thinking maybe it's the one on the right.
Yeah, it was this one.
Because my eye is not distracted. It's only focused on the seven.
Yeah, exactly. And and it worked. I mean, the idea behind it was that maybe it worked better with other dialog windows that we have, because this one was different. All the other windows that we have had the similar header. So this one was like very, very different compared to other windows, but it worked well. We had better conversions on this one, like more users monetized actually. But what's funny, like we had different results on web for web users. Mobile users behave different here, but it's because of, I think it's because of demographics, or maybe just some behavioral patterns. But we're still like finding out what actually happened here. So here are some more examples, but with bigger steps. It's this true story was actually at the time when we wanted to introduce multiplayer mode to our single-player game, and we noticed that there is a cross usage between slots and bingo players. They sometimes overlap, at least for our platform. So we decided to introduce something with bingo elements. So that's how bingo slots appeared. That's how it looks like, and the idea is following: that players enter one of three rooms with different bet size. It's actually like coupon price in coins. They see each other on the leaderboard, so they see what is the result of the other players. Once some number is scored on a symbol, like you will have 3 plums in a line, so you will have number 10, and so it will be scored, like marked here if you have it on your coupon. So once you have all 5 numbers on coupon, you hit bingo, you win. And then all players actually see what you that you scored. All players in this room. Yeah, that's basically the same thing what I just said. And what we find out after we release it, that maybe adding like totally new mechanism to your typical slots game was not very best idea, at least in our case. Machine was really interesting to like very small niche of players. It was not that popular as any other machines. There are still some players engaged, but there are like few of them. But on the bright side, we reused these assets. We actually learned how to recycle the assets, the graphics that we created. The system of this leaderboard was later used in tournaments that we introduced a few weeks after, and it was fun to work on because we, like, developers really had some fun. It was good shift from what I've done before, because previously we shipped like 5 machines. It was something different. It actually, we noticed that it boosted creativity, so it was still a good experience. One other story, it's about golden reels, and in this case we had in mind that we want to recycle the assets and ship machine as soon as we see how soon we can ship a new machine. And we wanted to offer some new content for our existing players, especially for high rollers. So we came up with this machine that would have free spins in exchange for special lucky tickets. So here are the symbols that were previously on the bingo slots, and some like the background and things around it. And so basically, a player can get lucky tickets that goes in the slot below the reels, and it offers them free spins for some different bet size. And so payouts on these machines are more frequent and more higher than on others. So they actually win lots and lots more. And they are not spending costs from their account, but the wins are added. So in this way, actually, we kind of invented a new way for players to buy coins, but it's more interactive way because they spin and they see as coins are added to their account. And what we learned after this, that actually sometimes your MVP can be really minimum, because it took us like very short time to put this machine together. The thing was that we recycled some graphics, and relating to things I've said before about cross-functional teams, that sometimes it's good to have people involved, and when they actually feel that it's have this feeling of ownership of this product they're working on. These ideas can come from everywhere. This particular machine was designed by our graphic designer, and it turned out that with inventing this new way of purchasing coins, it was pretty popular, and we've noticed it on the revenue. That's the blue line actually marks the moment when we released the golden reels, and that's the graph for the benefit for our premium currency that players need to spend in order to buy lucky tickets. So that's this obvious financial win, I'd say. One other example, it was actually released previously, like early stage of life cycle of our product. Were power-ups and cashback system. We wanted to have some virality feature that would be deeply integrated in the core gameplay, so that and that would maybe empower players to communicate outside of the game about the game. So we came up with power-ups that were boosting the gameplay into they were distributed via viral channels, and having some system of appreciation to both sender and receiver. So the power-ups bar is actually here below the machine, and they work in a way that player can receive them from friend. Once they win, some sum of coins is sent back to a sender. So in this way, both receiver and sender can have some advantages from the game. And what we find out that players would sometimes come back to the game only just to spend machine with their power-ups and to send back the cashbacks. There was a peer pressure for players not to, when players were not sending the cashbacks. They were writing on our fan page that, well, sorry guys, I could not send you cashbacks this day, I will send it tomorrow because I was too busy. But they were really excited about this, and it actually helped us to build a community of players, like really engaged players that we would never dream to have in a single player game. So that was one of the lessons that we learned with power-ups, and actually that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Questions before I ask mine?
So the mutual power-up thing, people were getting awards both sides of the transaction, right?
Mm?
Very good, very clever.
Okay, thank you.
When you're iterating, first of all, when you set your system up from the beginning, did you set it up in mind that, hey, we need to figure out how we can iterate quickly and dynamically? Is that something that you consciously did from the beginning when you set up your whole backend platform?
Well, with the slot, and it just actually from the very beginning, when we just approached the slots, we created some like long design document that we want to have this and this, and it was like a huge project. But then at some point we realized that it will be too long to ship to see if it's working, so we decided to iterate with the small steps. But it's not like our invention. It's used in some like in software development in general. So we were lucky just to embrace the system, and it really helped us a lot. So.
And then, when I looked at the lobby, right, with the little tiles, and then the one with the big tiles.
Yeah,
right? It was like quite early on in the presentation.
Sure. No.
Like if I said that to
Oh,
one
yeah.
of my, if I said that like, so I'm given a choice normally, and I represent a lot of land-based casinos who's selecting a partner. They're like, you have this or this. But how long did that take you to be able to change the lobby?
Well,
because it's quite a large investment.
this lobby actually, because this is actually what it looks like right now for mobiles, for phones, and that's a web version.
Oh, okay.
Because previously web version looked like this because we had like 3 machines, and it took like actually like almost I don't know 6 to 8 months to have all these machines presented here. But like for mobile, it was we couldn't put this
Right.
to phone because it would not be readable. That's but it actually was like a big investment to have what we have here right now. So it took us some time.
Because I'm saying to move that from that to that is quite a large investment.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's in our case it was investment of time, but you can solve it different. You know, just hire an army of graphic designers and mathematicians and move forward, right?
Yeah. And I wish I could do that. Like, which one would, you know? So I'm constantly given a choice. Which lobby do you want? And I'm like, well, I kind of want both because I'm not sure which one's going to work.
Yeah, true. I mean, before we switched to this, we tested if this works better for web, for because previously we had all the machine like in long list, and there was I don't have actually screens right now, but we had like maybe 5 different versions for lobby. There was like different with the fan, with the different kind of navigations, because it's really important. It's the first contact of the player, so you really need to think and yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of some of the other iterations that you've made, like how often do you change? Do you make iterative changes? Is it like monthly, daily, weekly?
Well, we are working in Scrum, so we have like 2-week sprints, and we usually release something in the end of the 2nd week. But what was told here today, it's important not to have too many changes because you don't know what's working. So sometimes we release some change that we know that we want to fix and it will influence all players, and then maybe have the A/B testing. So then actually these 2 groups are under influence of the same feature that was released like a week ago. But it's good that we have the environment adjusted that way that it enables us this often releases, because we can release even like we can have new features. We are able to ship new feature every day, but I mean we would not do this because it would like drive our users crazy. But the thing is that we have it on mobile, on both iOS and Android, and on web in various places, like in Facebook and Russian networks. So we can do some things like for Russians today and something for mobile users tomorrow. So it's all aligned in a longer, pipeline. But it's a matter of planning, like short time goals and longer time goals. So there were some points where we were working only on lobby, for instance, or on this shop items, and there was like number of tests, but you need to give them time to run and gather enough data so you could move forward as well.
And then internally, when you look at making iterative changes into the planning process, what kind of process does it go through? Is it just started by one individual person? Can anybody, make a change? Like, I was amazed when I went to go see Facebook. They're like, especially in the early days, anybody can make a change to the system, and it was like, sometimes it was oops, sometimes it was great.
Yeah, that's why you want to have this stage rollouts, for instance. When you're changing something big, you want to show it only to part of players and see what happened. And then for instance, with the bingo slots, we had previously a prototype for this, so it has no graphics or very little graphics, and see how it works. And so we as well adopted a system of backlog refinement. That's it's actually not our invention. It comes from Scrum, but we talk out ideas and then maybe offer some prototypes or mock-ups or graphics and see what happens, and then have some green lighting process. I mean, that's actually one of the part I was meant to say, that if there are so many ideas, you still need to have your focus on what you're actually doing here, not to have run from one side to another, and just have your focus and adopt some green lighting and prototyping, and that will actually probably will help. Right.
And then the last one, the machine order. Is that something that that can be done?
This one.
Yeah, dynamically, or so if you've got people that represent one demographic or female, male,
Mm.
you know, can it be detected dynamically?
Well,
or
that would be like in our perfect world actually, but right now we just know that on this platform, for instance, we have such and such demographics, so we offer them this machine order, but it's not adapting to particular players because right now we don't know who is entering the game, but that's actually what we're thinking, how to make it possible, because that would be really good thing to introduce, that you actually adjust the experience to the player. So, yeah.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I feel like I keep asking other questions. Okay. Well, thanks very much. Really
Thanks.
interesting.